God bless you, dear students. Today we are going to study about the sixth chapter, The Switch, written by Charles Dickens. So let's know something about the author also. Charles Dickens was an English writer and social commentator, regarded as the greatest novelist of the Victorian era. His works, including A Christmas Carol, David Copperfield, and Oliver Twist, continue to be popular to this day. So, children, this chapter, The Switch, has been actually taken from the novel A Tale of Two Cities, adapted by Charles Dickens. And it is a very famous historical novel set in London and Paris. Against the backdrop of the French Revolution, it is a tale of violence and injustice as well as of love and sacrifice. So now let's begin. Sidney Carton is a British lawyer who falls in love with Lucy Manet, a French lady. She tells him she is in love with Charles Darnay Avremont, a member of the French ruling class. Carton accepts her rejection graciously and promises to do anything to help her and her loved ones if they are ever in need. As the revolution unfolds, Avremont, who is innocent, is captured and ordered to be killed for crimes committed by his father and his uncle. Carton finds a man who is able to go freely in and out of the prison where Darnay is being held and makes plans to switch places with Darnay and get him and his family out of France. So now let's begin with a story here, and I am going to read the paragraphs, and after that I will explain accordingly. Now let's see. The hours went on as he walked to and fro, and the clocks struck the numbers he would never hear again. 9 gone forever, 10 gone forever, 11 gone forever, 12 coming on to pass away. Darnay walked up and down, softly repeating the names of his loved ones to himself, praying for himself and for them. Okay, so we can see that Charles Darnay is in the prison cell, and he comes to the hours which is passing and never come again. And because these are the hours which he never hear again, and he is counting the time as 9 o'clock, then 10 and 11 p.m. and 12, that means midnight. Darnay is walking to and fro inside the room itself, and while walking up and down, he is softly repeating the names of his loved ones and also praying for them and for himself. So just God may give them strength just before his death, and he is asking for the strength to bear this situation. Okay, now the next is 12 gone forever. He had been told that the final hour was 3, and he knew he would be summoned some time earlier, since the tumbrils jolted heavily and slowly through the streets. He had therefore resolved to keep 2 in his mind as the hour, and to strengthen himself meanwhile, so that he might be able after that time to strengthen others. So the time 12, that is over, and means it is now midnight, and it was told to Dane from the guards and other police officers that the final hour would be 3 a.m. Means when he is just going to be executed that time. So now he is thinking that he will called by them sometime earlier, and he will be executed at 3 early in the morning, when the carts used to transport prisoners that move suddenly and violently through the streets. And so he is praying first to God to strengthen him, that he may not be getting nervous or terrified, and he may just able to console his family members at that very moment. Now, walking regularly to and fro with his arms folded on his breast, he heard one struck away from him. Without surprise, the hour had passed like most other hours. Devoutly thankful to heaven for his recovered self possession, he thought, "There is but another now," and turned to walk again. So, just while he was walking constantly backwards and towards, then he heard that the clock struck one, and the time passed away, and he was not surprised for such, and this hour also passed like the most previous hours, and just in a very religious way. He is also thankful to God, who gave him the strength to be calm and confident, and so he controlled his feelings and thought that there is another 1 hour, and he started walking again. Okay, he stopped. He heard footsteps in the stone passage outside the door. The key was put in the lock and turned. The door was quickly opened and closed, and there stood before him, face to face, quite intent upon him, with the light of a smile on his features and a warning finger on his lips, Sidney Carton. So now what happened? As he heard that someone is coming through the passage outside the door, so he stopped walking, and what he noticed that someone put the key in the lock and turned it, and that door was quickly opened and also closed even, and what he saw, that someone stood before him face to face and very quiet, and also just gave all attention upon him with a glowing smile on his face, and it was his facial expression, and with a warning to put finger on his lips, and he was no one else but Sidney Carton. Now, there was something so bright and remarkable to his look that for a moment Dane mistook him to be an apparition, an invention of his imagination. But he spoke, and it was Carton's voice. He took Dane's hand, and it was Carton's real grasp. "Of all the people upon earth, you least expected to see me," said Carton. "I could not believe it to be you. You can scarcely believe it now. You are not." The dread came suddenly into his mind. "A prisoner?" asked Dane. So here remarkable just means unusual or in an impressive way, and this grasp, it means a firm hold of somebody. Okay, and one more word, scarcely. it means hardly, or we can say almost not. So now what happened? At that time, Cartons just look was so bright and remarkable that for a moment, and Dane thought him a ghost or a creation of his own imagination. And as he was thinking of his death, but when he saw him speaking and felt it was Carton's voice, then he hardly believed on it. And when Carton held Dane's hand, then Dane felt the touch of Sydney Carton, and so Carton is asking Dane that I think I am the last one for whom you were thinking at this moment. And no, I am known to one of the keepers here, and because of it I stand before you. I come from your wife, dear Dane. I bring you a request from her. So this Dane said that I am not believing at this moment that you are standing in front of me at this moment. Because really he was not expecting that Carton will be there, and because he was afraid, and so he said to Carton that you are not a prisoner here. Then this Carton said that he is neither a ghost nor a prisoner stand here before you, and he also told that he is here because he has brought a message from his wife. Now next paragraph. What is it? A strong appeal addressed to you in the voice so dear to you that you well remember. You have no time to ask me why I bring it or what it means. I have no time to tell you. You must comply with it. Comply with it means to just follow it without question. Okay, so Dane asked that what is it? Then Carton said that it is a strong request from your wife, and that addressed to you in a very dearly and also a requesting voice, and you must have to remembering it, and so there is no time to ask me that why I bring it or what it means, as there is very less time. So only what you do, you have to comply with it, that you to just follow the instructions without asking any question. Now next, Carton pressing forward had already with the speed of lightning sat Dane down in a chair in the cell and stood over him barefoot. Barefoot means without shoes. Put on these boots of mine. Put your hands to them. Put your will to them quick. Carton, there is no escaping from this place. It never can be done. You will only die with me. It is madness. So very quickly, just as the speed of light, this Carton moved forward, and he forced Dane to sit on the chair which was just lying there in prison, and stood beside him without his shoes, and said that quickly put on my shoes. Now this Dane is warning Carton that don't think of executing or any other escaping plan. Why? Because he said that we already tried before and we could not gain anything, only we were unsuccessful. So don't think of it, because we can't go out together from here, and it is really impossible, and it will be totally madness, because if these people will catch us, then they will also put you in the prison along with me. Now the next, it would be madness if I asked you to escape, but do I change the cravat for this of mine, that coat for this of mine? While you do it, let me take this ribbon from your hair and shake out your hair like mine. With wonderful quickness, he forced all these changes upon Dane, who was like a young child in his hands. Dear Carton, it is madness. It cannot be accomplished. Accomplished means to achieve or to fulfill. It never can be done. It has been attempted and has always failed. I implore you not to add your death to the bitterness of mine. So, in this paragraph, this Dane is saying here that it will be complete madness if I tell you to come and escape with me. But did I ask to come along with me? Who is saying this thing? Now Carton is saying that because he did not just tell this Dane that he wants to do this. Only he was just instructed what the things the Dane had to do at that time. Now I asked to come along with me. So he is saying that you change your necktie and coat and put off mine. And he is saying while you do it, I will take the ribbon from your hair. So why only you will change the necktie and coat of mine? Then Carton is telling that I will also let your hair shake out of as of mine, and you will just look like me. So very quickly Carton made all such changes in Dane, and this Dane was just obeying all his given instructions like a small child. And when Carton was making all the changes upon him, then Dane just said that, dear Carton, it is all madness and it can never be done, and we also can't achieve it as we have tried it numerous times, but we failed. And then he is requesting Carton, don't do it and don't invite your death along with me. So for today, this much is enough. The remaining part of the story's explanation you will get in the next part of the video along with the question answers. So just be prepared for your exam. Till then, all the best.